Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the North Wilkesboro Speedway, the renovated version for the Quick Shifts 225 here on the Elite Racing Network for the Belly Up Sports Cup Series' penultimate race in the 2026A season. My name is David Westergreen. I'm joined in the booth tonight, as always, by Zach Evans. Dave Huckleberry is on the production control. Sam Boutwell is race control tonight for this race. And, if you're following the racing world, I know that this is a difficult time. I don't have the eloquence of Alan Bestwick or the vocabulary of Mike Joy, but I do know that we're all hurting still, I think, from losing Kyle Busch last week. I think it's important that we get back to racing because racing is a family. It felt that way on Sunday watching the Indy 500, the Coke 600 with my family and being able to celebrate the life of Kyle Busch. And as we try to get back to normalcy, this is the first race that we'll have done without what is actually a former member of the Elite Racing League in some capacity. And I'm going to throw it over to Zach to give us the participation that Kyle Busch was able to provide to this league.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly, especially in 2020 and 2021 during COVID, obviously lots of, professional race car drivers were taking part in various elite events. And in 2021A, Kyle Busch was most notably a competitor in Elite's Indianapolis 500, coincidentally enough, coming off Memorial Day weekend. Qualified eighth in that race, didn't get the finish he had hoped for, but certainly was, part of that massive tradition here in the Elite Racing League. Um, just definitely, gosh, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. I think I'm still struggling with the frankly accepting the fact that that is the situation we're in, David. That Kyle Busch is not, he was not in the Coke 600. He will not be at Nashville this weekend. That he is no longer with us here on Earth, and obviously our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and the racing family, whether it be the folks at Richard Childress Racing or any of the people who were ever with, part of Kyle Busch Motorsports, so on and so forth, which obviously with my short track background, you know how much Kyle Busch Motorsports meant in the late model world on top of the truck series and all of that. So I'm sure we'll talk about that some more tonight. We definitely have some lovely tribute schemes in the field tonight, and we'll definitely touch on those, but hopefully we'll also be able to provide some an exciting 225 lap race as we continue the battle for a Belly Up Sports Cup Series champion.
Yep, that's absolutely right. And that's exactly what we're going to try to do is move forward, but we will note that there will be a silent lap 5 in remembrance of Kyle Busch, his first number in the Cup Series, and obviously the other numbers kind of used up this week with those tributary laps in the Coke 600, the Indy 500. So we'll take lap 5. And hopefully these guys can run it under green at North Wilkesboro. We haven't even talked about that. This track notorious for cautions. We'll get into all the ins and outs of the North Wilkesboro Speedway as we go, but let's go ahead and jump to the starting grid for tonight's race, the Quick Shifts 225. It will be Ethan Stanley on the pole in his pursuit for his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series championship. He'll be flanked by one of his primary contenders in Daniel Falkingham. Ryan Borges qualified third, good run for the Shifty Sports driver. Blake Reynolds chasing number 3 is P4. Trey Holmes with a nice run alongside his teammate Ethan Burrell, both for Pro Edge Racing. Burrell needs some more points to get back into the mix. Caleb Pecumer in P7. I have the World 600 winner, Jeff Green, alongside him in P8. It'll be David Tooker in 9th, another Pro Edge Toyota. He'll be flanked by Tate Lytle for Lake Norman in P10. Gerald Campbell with a strong qualifying run in 11th. He'll be side by side with Gavin Higgins in P12.
Chad Frankenfield qualifying in the 13th position. He'll be alongside Josh Chin in the 14th spot. Jonathan Cutlip qualifying 15th in car number 5. He'll be alongside Jaden Racimus. On the 9th row, Garrison Hogan will line up in 17th. To his outside will be Ray Bracey in car number 7. On the 10th row, Jared Rexing in the Do Good Motorsports 71. Daniel Gore in the South Shore Racing number 69. Jesse Racimus lines up in the 21st spot. Michael Hosack will qualify 22nd. Row 12, Trey Eidson in 23rd, Matthew Weeks in 24th.
As we scroll through the starting grid, including Johnny Thomas and Ty McIntosh, you'll note at the top of your screen that we are running extra pace laps with the missing man, Ethan Stanley, pulling back from his pole position to yield that to Kyle Busch in honor of the Cup Series driver and former Elite Racing League driver.
Rounding out the field, Mike Goodman in the 16th row alongside Paul Mikolajczyk. Justin Vandermeer and Seth Rawls will line up 33rd and 34th. As we go further back in the field, you'll see Nigel Stock and Mark Rebelus on the 18th row. Our 19th row will consist of Ryan Gable and Rob Mooney, uncharacteristically slow qualifying effort for Ryan Gable. And then you'll see Kurt Gibson and Scott Crump on row 20. Corey Abbott and Harrison Talon will line up 41st and 42nd of note. Josh Adams, EOL, and Jeff Green will have a drive-through to start this race. So that top 10 qualifying effort will go to waste for him.
Yep, we'll have to pay attention to that. He starts on the outside lane there in 8th, so him getting down to the bottom in order to make that pit stop good because for chaos. But as we get ready to get going, the pace car is off. Ethan Stanley and Daniel Falkingham on the front row. They will lead us to the green flag. And after a break, we are racing once again at North Wilkesboro Speedway. It is Falkingham and Stanley into turn 1.
Touched on it in our pre-race a little bit, David, as Jeff Green will make his way to the bottom and go down this long pit road on this renovated North Wilkesboro Speedway. This will be the first time the Belly Up Sports Cup Series has competed on this version of Wilkesboro. Before this, it's always been on the retrofitted 1987 version that was dropped on iRacing in 2020. This is our first time with the modern layout, the paved apron, the full-length pit road, and all of that, which is a lot more painful for Jeff Green serving this building.
Yep, it's going to cost him some time, a couple of laps probably. He'll have opportunities to get back here as Daniel Falkingham takes the lead over Ethan Stanley and Blake Reynolds. Ryan Borges has fallen to 5th behind Ethan Burrell, who's moved up into 4th spot. And lap 4 on the board. Remember, we'll do a silent lap 5 here after this lap. Falkingham using that outside lane to pull the lead on Ethan Stanley. Looks like we did have one spin out on the back straightaway, but it has made it to pit road as we start our silent lap 5. Continues to lead this race. Stanley and Reynolds all running different lanes here at that renovated Wilkesboro Speedway. Single file all the way back to a 3-wide battle where Chad Frankenfield finds himself working against Jonathan Cutlip and Jaden Racimus. He is going to clear the two of them, but Cutlip and Racimus pressuring Chad Frankenfield. Gerald Campbell and Caleb Pecumer just ahead of him.
Frankenfield with a slightly different number font. Of course, that KBM number font, 15 instead of 51, but slightly different look for Chad tonight.
Last week's winner, 2 weeks ago's winner, Jonathan Cutlip, sporting a white race EPI Fueled Up Racing Chevrolet tonight. He's usually in that neon yellow, but this week Cutlip rolling with the black and white scheme. I don't know that there's any significance of that, though I think there may be the Hendrick style font that might be new on this number 5 car. They're 3 wide behind them for a second there, but this is for the highest up battle on the racetrack at the moment as Campbell has bypassed Pecumer, so too has Frankenfield. That is opening the door for Jonathan Cutlip. He switches lanes, moves to the outside, try to challenge the World 600 winner Pecumer. You can see these cars really getting jumpy as we have run 10 green flag laps. I was told by one of the South Shore drivers that the way this car kind of goes, they're going to start burning about 1% a lap on these tires, it really, the higher horsepower, the high grip level in the track really starts to aggravate these tires, and it's going to cause some wear concerns if we do happen to get a green flag run here.
Definitely, and I was really surprised to not see more guys try to figure out what that was going to look like during practice. It seemed like there were a lot more short runs and or just horseplay during practice, if I'm being honest. I don't know that too many people were betting on long green flag runs tonight, even though last time we ran the retro version of North Wilkesboro, we only had 7 cautions. So it is possible to get some green flag racing here at North Wilkesboro Speedway, and we're off on the right foot for that tonight.
Kurt Gibson has retired the 88 car for the evening. Corey Abbott is joined Jeff Green at a lap down. I believe had a moment coming off turn 2 where the 21 had to make an adjustment, but nevertheless, up front is all Daniel Falkingham right now. He has been for much of the season, especially in the early part of these races. He has really been able to take control well as he holds the lead over the 2 Channel 199 sim racing teammates of Ethan Stanley and Blake Reynolds. Ethan Burrell's got a bit of a gap. He might even be holding up Ryan Borges and Trey Holmes just a little bit, but the 4 of them, along with Trey Holmes and Tate Lytle, are kind of pulling away then from Gavin Higgins, who's risen up from his 12th starting spot up into 8th, and he's being followed by maybe the first of our Kyle Busch tribute paint schemes there with Josh Chin in the 93. Yeah, so I asked Josh Chin about this.
Daniel Gore out of shape on the front stretch, and he's got to spin up the racetrack. That might be a caution.
It is. He got hit by Andrew Rucker. Daniel Gore did not enter this race with a lot of confidence in the car and the track, and I think we're going to talk about it a lot tonight, I think, but this is going to be a turn 4 bump caution cause right here. Gore's going to hit a bump right there on the corner exit. It's going to destabilize that 69 car and ultimately result in him struggling up the racetrack. He's going to get hit by Trey Eidson and then Andrew Rucker.
And the funny thing is, I was just about to mention that literally half a lap before this, Chad Frankenfield had a similar moment on the backstretch. He kept it pointed the right direction and didn't bring out a caution, but lost a lot of ground. And before I could even bring it up, then Daniel Gore was suffering the same fate in a much more dramatic fashion on the front stretch. Trey Eidson, you see, with one of those Kyle Busch tribute schemes, the late 2000 Snickers look on the 27 car tonight, but it's a little wrinkled up on the nose now.
Fun fact about the scheme Trey Eidson is running, that is the first scheme that Kyle Busch won with Toyota in 2008. That's the Atlanta win that was the first win for Toyota at all in NASCAR. So that's the one Trey Eidson's elected. Looks great. I believe that's a Seth Rawls paint scheme. And it will be Gore getting the tally, though I don't know. It's tough to put, for race control Sam Balbo to put. He's got to put that on Daniel Gore, but that's very much a problem caused by the track. I mean, I don't know, Dave, can we go on board with Gore? Because Ty McIntosh was telling me about this bump coming out of turn 4, and it's so clear that that's what upset this 69 car. If we can just be on board with them, maybe just a little bit further back there in turn 3. Oh, we've just lost Tate Lytle to a packet loss, so that's not good. Right about there, right before that second white line, that car bumps and becomes super out of shape, and that's exactly what offsets this 69 car and sends it spinning. Here's another look. We're gonna have to look out for this because Gore is side by side. He doesn't want to put any contact onto Jaden Racimus, but that's immediately what causes this incident.
Getting ready to go back green here.
Yep, back to live we go. Daniel Falkingham has chosen the inside lane, even though it was the outside that got him the lead on the start of the race. Ethan Stanley will have that lane, but Falkingham gets a nice restart in the restart zone, shoots out to the race lead. Stanley and Blake Reynolds will follow suit in line. Ethan Burrell's going to move up to that outside lane as well and try to pick up a spot on Blake Reynolds. He's, in fact, side by side with the 2-time defending Cup Series champion here. Powerful drive out of turn 4 for Blake Reynolds, able to jump up in front of Ethan Burrell. Burrell has to back up his entry to turn 1, and that will cost him the spot. Blake Reynolds back up to 3rd after this restart, and the yellow flag is out.
I see Josh Adams around in the back of the field, not sure how he found himself in that predicament. We'll go to the replay machine and find out, though.
Looks like very little damage on this 22 car. Looks like, yeah, he was cutting across the lanes and got a piece of whoever that was. And remember, that was an EOL Adams served at the beginning of the race that put him back in this spot. Mark Revelos with a nice dodge around Josh Adams. It looks like Chad Frankenfield is the one that's going to get a piece of Adams. Well, you look at it like that. Yeah, when you look at it like that, Zach, looks like Sam Boutwell might be able to do the thing.
I don't know. It's got to be tough. I think they kind of meet in the middle for me.
Yeah, I think the slow-mo is going to tell one story, and then the wide shot. From that initial wide shot, it looked like Chad gave enough room and Josh cut down across. But the second view, the slow-mo view, it looks a lot more like Chad rose up into him. So we'll take a look. I mean, Chad's already making a 3-wide move inside. Dives in deep. We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm glad I don't have to make the call because, you know, it's more fun to give it to Chad Frankenfield, but Sam Boutwell goes with the racing incident, and I can't say I disagree. I don't know
if is that what that means, or is that just...
That is the racing incident. He called it racing. Yep.
All right. 10-4.
So we're going to have to do our ads in very short stints tonight with the shorter cautions here at North Wilkesboro. So let's play one ad and we'll be back for the restart.
If you've been waiting for the right time to upgrade, that time is now. Score up to $4,000 off on a 26 brand new Ford Explorer. And our Ford Explorers come with the Bolin Lifetime Powertrain Warranty. So get to Tom Bolin Ford in Hannibal. Heck of a deal, ain't it?
Welcome back. We are 1 to green here in the Quick Shifts 225. Daniel Falkingham, the race leader, followed by Ethan Stanley, Blake Reynolds, Ethan Burrell, Trey Holmes, the top 5, Ryan Borges, Josh Chin, Gavin Higgins, David Tooker, and Gerald Campbell round out the top 10. Falkingham back into the restart zone, getting ready to send us back racing once again, and he will do it. Another good restart for Falkingham, in control of this race, and let's see if these guys can't get back to that first run where they were green flagged for quite a long time. Little aggression back in the field, setting it off, and already Rob Mooney, I think, might have been into Jeff Green. Don't know that the caution came out for it, though. We stay racing, but Jeff Green slow on the back straightaway as the field charges into turn 1.
Of course, that's a tough break for Jeff Green, who's still trying to get back on the lead lap from that earlier penalty. Definitely not going to be in contention for the lucky dog at the next caution after this.
No, he's going to have to fight Corey Abbott, Andrew Rucker, Trey Eidson, all for it. Eidson obviously with enough damage there to make that difficult, and Green has now hit the pit lane. So difficult start for Jeff Green. Trey Holmes into the wall off turn 4. Josh Chin working underneath the 23. Now Gerald Campbell working that outside lane, really starting to make some ground. Into the top 10 goes the former 2-time champ. And as I say that, the yellow is out.
Scott Crump and Gilberto Javier Gamera are against the outside wall here in turns 1 and 2. Let's take a look and see. Johnny Thomas is issuing the apology over the voice communications.
Yeah.
I think that was going to be pretty cut and dry for Sam Boutwell.
Yep. It's a tough spot. And it's obvious, right? You see the right front lockup on Johnny's car. He's trying to woe it up before he gets up and into Scott Crump. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how Scott Crump's season has gone. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it not, but a lot of that for the driver of the 90 car. Dusty Dewar also taking a spin in avoidance of this wreck. Why don't we go ahead and jump back to ads, try to get these paid out as we get these early caution flags, and then we'll get back into the racing and such after.
Tickets are on sale now for the 5th Enjoy Illinois 300 at Worldwide Technology Raceway. September 11th through 13th brings a full weekend of action with the NASCAR Cup Series, NASCAR O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and St. Louis's biggest music festival, Confluence. The stars shine on and off the track, and your ticket gets you everything: cars, concerts, camping, food, and fun. Don't miss it. Get your tickets now and save big at WWTRaceway.com.
Yep. Gotta go quick. As we're back here, let's do a quick look at what happened to Rob Mooney and Jeff Green, and then we'll go back to live for Green Flag Racing. This resulted in a tally on the 84 car there to the inside. And just about the same thing that happened there to Johnny Thomas and Scott Crump, but resulted in Trey Eidson getting wrapped up in yet another incident. Green Flag is back out up at the front of the field. Daniel Fulkingham with a nice restart, moving up in front of Ethan Stanley once again. Rob Mooney and Johnny Thomas receiving tallies for our latest incidents on the track. And Zach, that, with a rash of 3 cautions in 10 laps, this is the kind of thing that happens just about every single one of these shorter track races. It seems like guys get that green flag run under their belts, feel good. Caution comes out, they go, "Ooh, those guys that pulled away from me last time, I can get after them this time." And that's when they start jumping all over each other and running each other over.
Yeah, cautions breed cautions is the old saying, and certainly it's very common in the elite racing league to see a little bit of argy-bargy on these short tracks, so that's kind of where we're at the moment. Hopefully we'll get cleaned up here a little bit, go back to some green flag racing.
It's certainly possible at North Wilkesboro. We saw it at the beginning of this race. Gavin Higgins is driven into the top 5, the short track kid, looking to try and have a nice solid race, maybe pursue his first win.
And let's mention with Gavin Higgins, because, there are never any decals on this race car. But he has made an exception tonight.
Honestly, I hope he keeps it, at least for the remainder of the season, maybe next season as well. It's nice to have something on this 20 car, but he's having a really good run up here in P5, just in front of another guy who's having a nice run, Gerald Campbell, running 6th. Having a good day. Josh Chin is up in 7th, and we went to caution right as I started talking about Josh Chin's car, because you were kind of trying to figure out what year it was from. I asked Josh what year it was from. It's an amalgamation. It's a couple of different cars. He's got the metallic from I think the double mint cars on this 18, the purple from the later years with the next gen, and it's really just a tribute scheme to his time with Joe Gibbs Racing.
Definitely a great looking race car. I love the lettering on the M&Ms too.
Yeah, it says KFB on it. Rob Mooney has disconnected from the race, joining Tate Lytle, Jeff Green, Kurt Gibson as well. So that will narrow our field up to 38 cars on the racetrack, the last of which being a chaser in Trey Eidson, who's not had a good day so far, been sucked into several incidents. This battle remains fierce for the back end of the top 10, potentially stage points later on in the going, as David Tooker and Jared Rexing clear for 9th and 10th respectively, and Ryan Borges falls outside the stage points despite starting 3rd. And he continues to fall back as Jonathan Cutlip works his way by. Josh Chin underneath Gerald Campbell just ahead of that group.
Apologies to the Jesse Racimus fans. You saw him briefly on the screen there. in that pink car.
Oh, Josh Chin.
Uh-oh.
What a save. Chin able to hang on to it. Shades of Kyle Busch right there. Very good save down the front straightaway. He's going to lose a couple of spots, but keeps that 93 car clean. There's Jesse. There's Jesse.
There's Jesse. I'll try to hit on this briefly. Unfortunately, one of the quirks of iRacing when you sign into a NASCAR-style race is you have to pick which car you want to run. And Jesse has been a Chevy all season. He is still absolutely meant to be a Chevy tonight, misclicked on the Toyota. So we've kind of had to improvise tonight and give him a quick little scheme with the proper banners and contingencies.
Oh, Caleb Pacuma around in the front straightaway. No caution. We stay green. Caleb was able to keep it pointed somewhat in the right direction despite being completely sideways. And Zach, I think that's another bump gone wrong. He was inside of Jesse Racimis right when that happened.
Right there, right in that almost the same spot. And it just steps out on World 600 winner Caleb Pacuma.
He's able to keep it going. We stay green. Good work by Caleb to keep this race under the green flag condition. Daniel Falkingham still leads up front. He has not been challenged thus far by either Ethan Stanley or Blake Reynolds. Ethan Burrell rides in fourth. Gavin Higgins fifth. Garrison Hogan battling against Gerald Campbell for the sixth position. Campbell has it. Hogan wants it, trying to get up there with his Channel 199 teammates just ahead.
Man, this is such a weird, watching some of these battles throughout the field, you can tell these guys are really fighting this car. It wants to just take off up the hill on corner entry like you kind of saw from Garrison Hogan there, but then it's so twitchy on corner exit.
That's a very much a feature of this next-gen rack and pinion steering. You crank that wheel to get this car to go left on iRacing. The brakes are just a little bit more sensitive. You can't really stab them, otherwise the car will just lock that right front up and slide up the racetrack. But then you're cranking the wheel to the left, all of a sudden the car grips up and the rear wheels begin to spin more than the front tires are and loop you around. So you have to be real careful, especially if you're on the bottom, like Jared Rexing is right there when you hit that bump. That thing could very well end your race. It certainly hurt Caleb Pacuma's and Daniel Gore's already. And what else is going to, I think, hurt these guys coming up is some lap traffic. I don't think we're very far from the back of the field getting sucked up by Daniel Falkingham here. As we continue to watch the battle between Jared Rexing and Josh Chin.
And another couple of factors as well, of course, this season we have the updated short track package with this car, a little more horsepower, a little less downforce. And then I don't know how many times we've talked about this over the years, David, but North Wilkesboro, despite its age, I don't think a lot of people realize, before quote unquote progressive banking was cool, North Wilkesboro had it, it still has it, and that's absolutely something that we've seen be a little bit of a trouble spot in some of the, you go to places like Homestead or Iowa especially, and if you catch one of those transitions just the wrong way, this car really does not like it.
Yep, and we've seen the multiple lanes be possible all race long. You've got Jared Rexing running here on the bottom, Jonathan Cutlip working that middle lane. Just behind them, you've got Jesse Racimis working the very top outside lane. Chad Frankenfield, who came down and got tires on one of those earlier cautions, which is what got him back there with Josh Adams originally. He's moved back through the field up into the 13 spots, battling against Jesse Racimis, and they couldn't be running lanes any different. That's the beauty of this North Wilkesboro Speedway. It's one of the biggest reasons everybody really wanted to go back to it. It can certainly provide good racing without needing, glue to be laid down on the bottom of the racetrack. You can run multiple lanes, and as this surface wears and we continue to race, points races at it, which I believe we haven't run the points race at Wilkesboro yet in the Cup Series, have we? I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't think we have.
That'll be later this season, not far away from it.
Yeah,
but,
I thought we were close.
And that's, we're running 225 laps tonight. That's because that points race will be 450 laps. Extension or increase from what was traditionally 400 lap races back when North Wilkesboro used to host two of these points-paying Cup Series races for most of its time on the schedule before it was originally closed after the 1996 last event there.
Lot of I'll tell you what, I'm excited for that race. You know, I thought the Coke 600 was a great show, and you and I were both at the Indy 500, another great real life show as Gerald Campbell works to the outside of Gavin Higgins for P5. But I mean, we've seen great racing this week. I'm very invigorated with regards to that. So I am very excited for this. The way this is racing right now, look at the different lanes, right? Josh Chin has already gone around Garrison Hogan on the bottom of the racetrack. Hogan working the top, struggling a little bit, right? It's not all moving forward. Gerald Campbell moving forward on the top, jumping into P5. Hogan falling back on the outside right now. Those guys on the bottom are moving past it.
Absolutely. Seeing some comers and goers. You mentioned some of those guys have been on pit road for a set of tires under this most recent caution. You see the closing in on the end of that first stage. Guys will be battling for those stage points, especially our championship contenders with the blue backgrounds and the orange numbers on our scoring pylon. Gonna be... Business will pick up here in the next 15 laps or so, I'm sure.
And speaking of business picking up, Daniel Falkingham has now caught the tail end of the field. So now we are full conveyor belt mode here around North Wilkesboro Speedway. Falkingham bypassing and lapping Mark Rebelas. He'll be going after Gilberto Javier next up here at the front of the field. Back here, Gavin Higgins is starting to fade off. The tires seemingly wearing up badly on this 20 car. Gerald Campbell able to keep the tires on that 31 quite well. He bypassed Higgins. Here comes Josh Chin working underneath the 20. And Chin not able to get clear. Higgins really, he's a difficult car to pass. I think even if he's got the older tires, even on equal tires, whatever, Gavin Higgins is not easy to pass. He is very much I called him the short track kid earlier. He races like the races are the 50 lap heats at his local short track, right? Every single lap is got to hold your spot. It's trying to race against, but it's certainly a valid style, and it's one that's got him having plenty of success, and he's up here in the top 7 or so in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. That's a good spot to be.
Absolutely, and just behind that, Chad Frankenfield had a little bit of a moment on the exit of turn 2. He kept it pointed the right direction, didn't lose any spots, but definitely lost ground on this battle that he was a part of, and now finds himself more on the defensive here with one of those Channel 199 cars behind him. Can't quite make out which one it is.
It's Hogan that is falling back badly. Hogan is now outside the points right now, and Chad Frankenfield taking the tires and has moved all the way up and into the stage points here. His lap 80 is the stage. I don't know. Yeah, here's the format for tonight. I don't know if we mentioned it. Chad Frankenfield used one of those sets of tires there where it says tire changes. He's going to be down a number to everybody else, but he is going to grab some stage points barring anything catastrophic. And in the 15 car, that's certainly possible, but it's something that could absolutely help him in the battle with Ray Bracey for best of the rest. Guys who did not make the chase. It's him and Ray battling it out for that top spot. And Frankenfield's inside of, oh man, Rexing into the wall. Frankenfield inside of Higgins just ahead. The tire's really starting to go. Borges in the wall hard as well. Both Rexing and Borges having a big time moment here. There's a spinner, I think, or there's smoke in turn 3. Somebody has definitely been around or been sideways in 3. We stay green though. They're 3 wide back here with Matthew Weeks and Borges. Matthew Weeks has to back out of it to keep from spinning that 30 car down the front straightaway. And Ryan Borges really starting to struggle. So is Jared Rexing. Frankenfield around Higgins ahead of them, so that 15 car continues to be on the move with the fresher tires. Back here, it is absolute chaos and pandemonium as these guys try to surge forward against some of these guys who are really starting to struggle on the old tires.
And breathe. That was a chaotic couple of laps there, but I think you're right. I think these tires are starting to give up the ghost, especially for people who haven't made that trip down pit road yet. Yeah, he's gonna
be around. That's gonna be the guy. Oh, Weeks did manage to straighten up the 11.
Oh, wow. Now Borges just squeezed Gilberto Javier Guevara into the wall, but
Gilberto's trying. Gilberto's on the outside. He's just trying to stay out of the way. Weeks drives up into him there. I'm sure Matthew won't be terribly happy with it, but it's. Oh my goodness, Gilberto's doing nothing wrong, minding his own business. The car's been wrecked. This is a very long green flag run, Zach. We are approaching 50 laps on this green flag run. These guys are, you mentioned it, not a whole lot of practice doing runs this long. I'm certain that there's some very ill handling race cars right now.
Oh, you're seeing it for sure, and you see right now everybody in this, top 8 still on the set of tires they started this race with, and Gilberto Javier Gamera has given up the ghost. He has brought it to pit road, locked up the brakes on the way to pit road. So,
yeah. Scott Crump now the one about to be lapped by Daniel Falkingham just ahead as Gilberto makes his way down pit lane. He was getting run all over, was Gilberto. I can't blame him for that one after getting the damage in the crash with Scott Crump. And Crump is battling to stay in the lead lap. You have to do this if you're a chaser. Crump is, but I think Daniel Falkingham is going to surge on by this damage number 90. Scott's making it tough on him, though, and that's bringing Ethan Stanley and Blake Reynolds back into this fight for the lead in the stage with just a couple of laps to go.
And you're right, he needed to put up that fight in case he got a well-timed caution and got to stay on the lead lap.
Blake Reynolds was thinking about 3 wide around Scott Crump and Ethan Stanley, got on the apron. That car got a little upset. He thought better of it. White flag in the stage for Daniel Falkingham. No challenge from these two behind. Ethan Stanley and Blake Reynolds will have to settle for good points in their championship hunt. But Daniel Falkingham will win stage number 1. Ethan Stanley second, Reynolds third. It'll be Ethan Burrell, Gerald Campbell, Josh Chin, Jonathan Cutlip, David Tooker, Chad Frankenfield, and Trey Holmes that get stage points here in North Wilkesboro. I'm just now noticing, Zach, and I probably should have said something about this. One of our 4 championship contenders is not here tonight.
He sure isn't. And I was just kind of noticing that as well, but no Gavin Hibbs with us tonight.
I was sitting there thinking, Reynolds, Stanley, Falkingham, those guys have been our championship favorites for the majority of the season. But we're missing one. I was like the big 3, but no, it's been the big 4 all year. Gavin Hibbs has a couple of wins. He's third in points. He's not here tonight, and I hope everything's all right with Gavin. And I maybe that's why I didn't notice it. Daniel Gore also battled really hard to stay on the lead lap. He's not going to be able to do it, but it has brought Ethan Stanley and Blake Reynolds back up to Daniel Falkingham's rear bumper. These guys are all well within their rights to battle the race leader to stay on the lead lap. They certainly should do it, right? Now Daniel Gore needs to battle Harrison Talon ahead of him to retain the lucky dog, but he's certainly hoping for a yellow flag that's well-timed right about now before Falkingham gets around Harrison Talon.
Not gonna get it, but...
Nope. It's worth noting Harrison Talon, one of the biggest Kyle Busch fans in this league, and that I know, had some emotional posts running the font change there with Rowdy Forever. He's got Rowdy on the door frame, and Harry was one of the first ones at least I thought of that has been kind of always outspoken with his Kyle Busch fandom. There's other Kyle Busch fans that I do want to mention. Ty McIntosh is one. Justin Vandermarl is another. But known Harry for a long time. He's the kind of guy that I took this very hard. I'm certain, because it's a tough thing. He's had his favorite driver for good 20 years now.
I was thinking about that. I guess it was yesterday that. For an entire generation of fans, Sunday's Coca-Cola 600 was the first time their favorite driver wasn't in the field, right? I mean, that's just, even when it comes in much more usual, like there was a day I turned on a race and Mark Martin wasn't in the field, and that was weird, but it was expected, right? He had a long and successful career, and you knew at some point, like the line in Moneyball, everybody's told one day you don't get to play the game anymore, but that's, it's so much more difficult to process with Kyle Busch and his untimely passing, and obviously very tough on all of his fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are the folks I want to say I'm thinking about in this week, and it's the thing I've thought about all along is Kyle Busch would want us to race. He would want us to enjoy racing. These guys are putting on a really, really good race right now, and I don't think it's just because of that, but I do think that we need this. We need a good race. We need to get back to normalcy, because that's the thing that unites us. Thing that united us to Kyle Busch, right? That's not. He didn't know any of us in particular, but what he did know was racing, and we knew he loved racing, even if we hated how he raced sometimes. Man, I was never a Kyle Busch fan, and I found myself in tears on the couch on Thursday, because it's not about that, like, the fandom at that point. It's about racing. It's about somebody who loves racing not able to continue doing what they love, and that sucks the most. And it sucks the most for his family. And I was really excited to see him race with Brexton. And
absolutely,
we won't get to see those things, man, and that stinks. But what we do get to see is a continued excellent race here at North Wilkesboro. Scott Crump in the Kyle Busch tribute car falling back on the outside lane. Chad Frankenfield making his way around Ethan Burrell, whose car seemingly fallen off a cliff a little bit. Jonathan Cutlip with they're crashing.
That's Gerald Campbell.
Frankenfield involved, Chin involved. I think Gerald might have just gotten a little bit too high, and that is going to shake things up. Ethan Stanley was stalking Daniel Falkingham for the lead as well. Gerald Campbell was having such a good run.
Yeah.
Had actually, I think, pulled away from some of these guys, was really managing the tires quite well. And, he's just going to get knocked into by Josh Chin. Wow. And Chad's just going to have nowhere to go and put Chin directly into Gerald. Looks like Gerald might get away with this without too much damage. Chin and Chad might be the ones that have a little bit more on the damage front. On board with Chad here, and we'll watch the field come down pit lane on my end. Here's the onboard of this incident.
For Chad, most of this race has been committed to the bottom, was starting to drift up a little bit on these older tires, but it didn't matter really what he did there. It stuck just as he was going to try to duck low, because it looked like the wreck was going to be in front of him in the middle. That's when he drifted back down the racetrack.
So there's Falkingham wins the race off pit road. We will go ahead and take our third commercial break of the evening, and we will be back for the restart.
Blue Egg Marketing. Rev up your business with Blue Egg, your marketing pit crew. Turbocharge your lead generation with experienced drivers that can navigate the competitive track to connecting with your customers. With Blue Egg, you're always in the pole position, leading your brand towards victory lane. So don't spin your wheels, accelerate success with Blue Egg, fueling small businesses to win big.
The Lucas Oil School of Racing. Simply stated, we are the professional ranks where the quality of the equipment often dictates the outcomes, and all of our cars are designed to perform and race as close as humanly possible. None of our competitors will have an advantage from engineering tactics. Rather, you will compete on a completely level field with a score of immensely talented up-and-coming drivers, all pushing each other to reach their new heights in their respective pursuit in becoming a professional race car driver. Every year, our top-performing graduates move on to the professional racing ladders of IndyCar, F1, and IMSA. Whether drivers compete in 1 or 2 seasons of our series, when they are ready to move on, they are ready to move. The training you receive in our school is an unmatched, unforgettable, first-class education combining the very best racing instruction and education.
Welcome back to the Quick Shifts 225. Josh Chin gets the tally for that last yellow flag. Daniel Falkingham to the lead of the race. Blake Reynolds and Ethan Stanley continuing to pursue Jonathan Cutlip up into the top 5 and to the back bumper of these guys he raced against and beat last time we raced in this series. At 5 car looking very strong. Chad Frankenfield now to the inside of Ethan Burrell. He and Gerald Campbell don't look too worse for the wear after that caution. Now Josh Chin is also right here in the top 10. Oh, man, Ethan Stanley really trying to get after Daniel Falkingham as they race side by side here for 5th. Still, Frankenfield will sort into line behind Burrell. But the challenge for the lead is on. Blake Reynolds sideways off 2. He's around. Oh, he saves it.
Holy cow.
That is not easy to do in this rack and pinion steering car. Blake Reynolds hangs onto it, proves why he got signed back to the Coke Series. Man, that car is gone.
He got a couple attaboys in the voice chat and just very calmly said, "Thank you. There's nothing I would be saying calmly after that.
Oh, Ethan Stanley's going for about the same ride on the front straightaway as well. He hung on to it a little bit better than Reynolds did, but things are getting a little crazy. You can tell the intensity is ramped up significantly here. Not to mention the track is starting to undergo a bit of a change. We're starting to get into the cover of darkness here, where we will finish this race under dark conditions.
Oh, trouble on the front stretch. Gerald Campbell is around.
Man. A good run for Gerald. Oh, well, he is around.
So I think Josh Chin is also involved.
They were side by side, and Josh got into Gerald the first time, and he's on the bump. But yeah,
netcode
wow.
there.
Yeah, that looks pretty netcode-ish.
I think there was some netcode there.
Oh man, Garrison Hogan, David Tooker have to get in the wall to avoid Gerald, and Gerald straightened the car out. I don't think this added to the carnage.
No,
I wonder what I want to see what happened to Josh getting around there. Because Josh gets on the binders. Oh, he gets hit by Matthew Weeks and Gavin Higgins. Yeah. Is that it?
Might be it.
I think so, but might be big damage for. They're gonna call. Yeah, Sam's gonna call that net code. Think that's a pretty solid call, but that's big damage for Matthew Weeks, who is one of our championship contenders. He needed some good luck. He's certainly not gotten it with regards to the drivers running at the front of the field tonight, but getting involved in a wreck is certainly not going to help anything. Weeks is really going to need some good fortune here the rest of the way to stay involved in this championship fight.
One thing I'm noticing here, and something that's coming up in the driver chat, is between that long pit road and the fact that inexplicably pace car speed is 10 miles per hour quicker than pit road speed, guys are really having a hard time making even a 4-tire pit stop and staying on the lead lap, especially if they are further back in the field coming to pit road under these cautions.
Yeah, I saw that. It's on the border. Trey Eidson. I think you can't fix any damage, right? Because Trey Eidson lost a lap right at the beginning of the race. Daniel Gore just lost another lap. Guys are just struggling to fix any of that damage, right? Because of the speed of the pace car right now. I mean, we came back to green after one of our, and we're about to go green. But we came back after one of our breaks right into the green flag. So the cautions are quick here. You do not have a lot of time to fix things. Daniel Falkingham to the restart zone once again. We are racing again here at North Wilkesboro. Falkingham, Stanley, Jonathan Cutlip into the top 3. Ethan Burrell into 4th. Blake Reynolds. That's going to be a good chance for the tires on that 66 car to calm down, because I'm certain they were hot and angry at the driver for that moment off turn 2. Field sorts out. Reynolds going to be the outside of Chad Frankenfield off turn 2 this time. Reynolds dives to the inside, looking underneath Ethan Burrell for the 4th spot. He thinks better of it, but he does cover off the 5th spot from Frankenfield and puts Garrison Hogan in a prime spot to grab that position away from Chad Frankenfield. Now Reynolds side by side with Burrell for the 4th spot. Through the field, lots of side by side racing going on. Frankenfield and Tooker side by side. Corey Abbott has gone from 41st starting spot all the way up into the top 10. He just bypasses Jaden Racines right there. Fantastic run for Corey in that number 21 car. And as Trey Holmes has a moment just in front of him, I think it's a decent time to mention that Corey and I are in talks with me sponsoring the old 21 car next season in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series.
With you sponsoring?
Yep, me sponsoring. We're gonna put Batflip podcast on the car, and
okay,
yeah,
yes.
we're gonna, it's It's very
Are you
good.
allowed to talk about that before it's signed?
Yeah, well, it's signed. We gotta exchange the funds, but it's agreed to. We were discussing paint schemes this week. Dusty Dewar around on the back straightaway, saves it. Oh, but he's gonna cut back up into traffic, and that's wow. I don't know how that wasn't a 5-car crash. Dusty Dewar had a big one all by himself down the back straightaway and managed to hang on to it.
Oh gosh. So right here is when David saw it and thought he was gonna wreck, and then he saved it, but it snaps it right here's where I thought he was gonna wreck. And somehow
oh my goodness. If we had more time, I'd say let's go on board with Harrison Talon. I'm sure that's quite a view, but we do not have time for that. Back live here as Dewar continues to fall through the field. The fights are furious throughout the field right now. A bunch of 2-wide battles in the middle of the field, including Corey Abbott going after Chad Frankenfield for the 9th spot. Looks like that damage is starting to affect this 15 car. It didn't on that last restart, but I think right now it's kind of significant. It's definitely slowing him up a little bit.
Corey Abbott got to try to look to his outside, not quite able to pull alongside him. Behind that, of course, you see this battle here between Jaden Racimus and Seth Rawls. That's for the 11th position.
And, I do want to call out, Jaden Racimus was one of the early victims last time we raced at Kansas, but he's had a pretty solid season, several finishes inside the top 20 this year. And, that's a driver that we talk about in the ARCA series as well, one I'm going to be racing on Tuesdays in the coming weeks as probably a championship contender, a guy who's growing. He's young, he's getting better at this stuff, and he's had some bad luck when he switched to Corey got into Chad. That's going to be enough of the wreck. Michael Osak into Chad. Yep, there it is. Just calling out all the Abbott cars, saying how they were really starting to find something, and Corey's just going to get a big piece of Chad on corner entry here, and Hosak's going to deliver the final blow to the 15, who had a very good day, got some stage points there at lap 80, but it's going to go all by the wayside.
Ruling has already been made.
Yeah,
Tally
that's
21. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that one was pretty. Yeah. There's a subsection of cars heading down pit lane here. Gerald Campbell, Jared Rexing, Gavin Higgins, and a few others. You mentioned with the struggles to fix damage and stay on the lead lap. I do wonder whether they'll be able to get anything fixed. Hopefully they can. Do we have any more ads to play, Dave? I just want to make sure we do. Let's play that one and get back for the restart.
Have you ever just forgot to hold the brakes during a wreck? Are they just not able to pronounce your name in a race?
Paul Michelager.
Have you ever been wrecked by Chad? Hi, I'm Ray Bracey, and I'm here to share with you Quick Shifts. Watch all the highlights, lowlights, and other shenanigans in the top racing leagues, such as the Elite Racing League, and... But don't just take my word for it.
Before Quick Shifts, I was depressed. I wasn't able to relive my favorite moments from each race. Now with Quick Shifts, I can go out there and listen to all my favorite banter from the race while seeing all the crashes and good racing once again.
I don't remember life before Quick Shifts. I had to listen to Cameron Proke and Ty Mac and Cheese recap Oscar every week in the 3-wide TV booth, but now, thanks to Quick Shifts, I actually enjoy my Oscar recaps.
So try Quick Shifts. You suffered through it one time, why not suffer through it again? Side effects of Quick Shifts include constipation, diarrhea, dizziness, dry mouth, abnormal heart rhythms, internal bleeding, numb tongue, unfiltered honesty, loud hiccups, laughing uncontrollably, mandatory dancing, midnight munchies, blue urine, red urine, no urine, and
Welcome back to the Quick Shifts 225. Be sure to tune into Quick Shifts for little summaries, snippets of these races, and funny driver voice chats as well. Always a good time for the fellas, especially if you are curious about the personalities of these guys that we always talk about on Wednesday nights. They're often better displayed there in Quick Shifts. Daniel Falkingham and Ethan Stanley have been top two the entire race. Falkingham charges back to the race lead. Stanley in second. Reynolds to the inside of Cutlip for that third spot. That'll be a key fight. Reynolds unable to get after Ethan Stanley, and now Cutlips to his outside. But I think Blake Reynolds is going to be able to clear. They are 3 wide in the back of the field right now at Ty McIntosh. That is quite the spot as Trey Holmes to the outside of David Tooker. They ran a whole lap 3 wide. Jesse Racimus, Josh Adams, and Ty McIntosh did. They have managed to sort it out. But my goodness, that was a wild lap. I just happened to have my monitor on it, and they made it work.
They made it work, and Ty McIntosh has moved up to the 14th spot as a result of that. In fact, if we look just in front of Ty McIntosh, who is rocking one of those Kyle Busch schemes, he's got the M&M's caramel, or is it caramel? That's always a debate point. I don't feel strongly about it one way or the other. But just ahead of him, we do have Justin Vandermarl, who has we need to update your programs.
Yep.
New car number.
That is the 18 for Justin Vandermarl. And Corey Abbott sideways on the front straightaway. He saves it, but he'll lose all of that valuable track position he gained, and he's gone from the back to the front already. I think he can do it again, but it's going to be just got loose. Just that perfect little spot where that rack and pinion steering starts to unload and unwind, and got him out of shape. I do want to go back to Justin Vandermarl though with the special scheme, the tribute scheme, and the new number. Vandermarl likes to change numbers. He's been the 80, he's been the 54, he's now the 18, but I do kind of hope this one sticks. Fueled Up Racing's had the 18 for quite some time with Josh Personette. I don't know if Personette will be racing again or not, but at the very least, Vandermarl will be running this one for the rest of the season, and it's a good fit. Scheme is awesome. Sad. It's one of those we've made our touches, or we've touched on Kyle Busch quite a bit tonight, and we're going to keep doing it, but a good scheme here, and one that I think Justin's doing Kyle proud right now. He's up here in the 10th spot, running really well. Yep. Oh, Dusty Dewar sideways off turn 2. Hey, hello, man. Good. Dusty, he found it. He's had a couple of moments like that.
Boy.
There goes out from underneath the 32, and we're seeing a lot of that. Seth Rawls just did it right in front of Ty McIntosh. That's going to be it's not a caution yet. Now it is. Rawls is sideways in front of the field. He's got Gavin Higgins wrapped up in it. Nigel Stock as well.
It's not.
Throw it, Sam. Throw it.
Can't.
Oh, he can't.
He can't.
It is out now.
Which almost makes me wonder if there was a separate incident, or if.
What on earth? Right in front of Ty, minding his own business. I mean, that's just the same thing that happened with Dewar, but Gavin, Nigel. I mean, I think Nigel maybe spun out after, and that yielded the yellow, or maybe it's because Rawls drove backwards towards the leaders.
Maybe.
But I mean, at that point, the caution should already be out.
Yes, and we'll spare everybody the rant that we've made 6,000 times on the Elite Racing Network at this point, but there's an easy solution to that problem.
Yep. We got him sitting right here in the voice chat with us. Seems like he could take care of that. Hosak has disconnected. So too did Paul Mikolajczyk to do some housekeeping. Caleb Acumer is 72 laps down. That car has been damaged since he got a piece of the inside front stretch wall. Andrew Rucker has retired from the event as well. So we're down to 34 cars on the racetrack. That doesn't mean that we're lacking in potential carnage, however.
No, and we're still, we're barely past the halfway mark in this race. We've still got, math. Is that 88 laps to go?
Yeah. Seth Rawls is going to get the cause for this caution, and yeah, this race car has been. What happened?
We just we've got up on pit exit.
Huh. Well, I'll tell you, we're sitting in voice chat with race control, and I'll tell you, I'm glad I'm not race control for this one.
Yeah.
What on earth happened there? Wonder if we can get a view of it. It looked like it was between Ty, Dusty.
Well, it started with Matthew Weeks, and he said, sorry, I hit the brakes because if I didn't, something was going to happen, and I kind of lost. Oh, okay, so he exits the pit side by side with Gore, so he was hitting the brakes so that he wouldn't get pushed up the track.
Right there, and then bonk bonk.
He goes on the banking, then he gets a black flag. And
I see.
Yeah.
It's the nature of the narrow exit here for pit road. But we go back to live as we are about to hit back into green flag conditions. Daniel Falkingham, Ethan Stanley, the race leaders as they've been all race. Not as good of a jump this time for Falkingham. Stanley is there. Falkingham going to slide up in front. Stanley gives him a little shot. And Falkingham clears for the race lead. Stanley going to try to get in there and grab a race lead. It's in Falkingham's best interest to lead all the laps in this race. But if Stanley and Reynolds can stay right there and not compromise their points running positions, they should be in good shape for next week, even with another Daniel Falkingham win, to battle it out between the two of them for the championship because of that shifting issue that Falkingham had back at Kansas. Ethan Stanley's done everything well so far, just keeping Daniel Falkingham in his sights. You look through the field, a little contact with the wall for Justin Vandermarle as he fights with Jaden Racines for the 8th position, rather for the 9th spot. A couple of guys having really strong runs. Trey Holmes right ahead of them there in the 8th spot. In fact, we got 3 Pro Edge Toyotas all nose to tail there from 6th back to 8th.
And this is just an absolute wad of cars right here on the screen right now, and it's going to be very.
Oh, Jaden! No, Jaden takes out Geraldine, Justin, Corey. Oh,
Leave Jaden.
yeah.
Yep. That's what happened for sure.
Oh, huge hit for Justin.
Yeah.
Adams around, Borges around. Bojo might be the one to go on board with here.
Another Weathers tribute cars we haven't talked about yet tonight. Got the Rebel Bourbon look on that 7 car.
Yep, Jonathan Cutlet to pit lane. And on board with Bojo. The C's are going to part for the old 7 right here. He's going to find a way through. Woo. Yeah, I think Jaden Racines is going to get away from this one. Justin Vandermarle disconnects. Yeah.
Tough.
Oh, man.
Sure.
Car just, immediately pounded into the wall and it was busted. It gets pinned into the wall like that. It busts the right front and the car's just immediately toast. Nigel Stock also disconnects from the service, so that'll put 32 cars on the racetrack to end this event. And I tell you what, if we can pull up the points battle as Jaden Racines does get the tally for this caution flag, Blake Reynolds and Ethan Stanley. Ethan needs to keep Blake behind him to make ground up. He's already finished ahead of him in the stage.
Yep.
Falkingham, the race leader, is going to make up some points on those guys, but with them right behind him, that gap of 36 points, that's going to come down, but it probably won't come down enough, right? He's going to need some help from those two behind him. Other than that, man, it really is going to take a bit of a miracle. For anybody else to get back in here. Gavin Hibbs was really the one guy who had a good shot. And as we kind of look back through the field, Ethan Burrell's not really close to the front anymore. Matthew Weeks has significant damage on the nose of the 11 car.
Well, you say that, but he's up to 9th, which I am as shocked to say that as anyone, because it seems like he's been in everything, but he is in the top 10.
He did go down pit lane, or Burrell and Cutlip came down pit lane last time. The field is a little bit split on strategy right now. We'll see if that matters. I think there might be just quite a bit of cautions here in the remaining 75 or so laps in the quick shifts 225. Falkingham completes our 8th caution flag of the race, jumps out to the lead over Ethan Stanley. Stanley holds second, as he's done all race long. Blake Reynolds will be battling side by side with Hogan for third. A little bit of co-opetition there for Garrison Hogan. Dusty Dewar spits Harrison Talon. Oh, and that's a huge wreck on the front straightaway. It's just going to be Harrison Talon. I thought he was going to come flying back up the track.
I'm not sure how Gerald got into this. Dustin Dewar got into Harrison Talon here on the exit 4. We'll see it on the replay. And that's going to be the tally on the 32, I'm pretty sure.
And Zach,
what happens to Gerald here?
Oh, yeah, under the braking, that car's just going to get out from under him.
Yeah.
Zach, we see a Dusty Dewar tally, and we reflect to the point standings this season.
Do we have to? Do we have to? I mean, we should.
Dusty's the number of tallies Dusty will now have accumulated is rather high, and I'm wondering what the punishment will be. He's struggled to clear that stigma, and he keeps getting some negative points, and I think he's still deep in the red in terms of total points accrued on the season.
Yeah. It's not been the season he hoped for, to say the least.
I'm seeing negative 23 points for the 32 car.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think he had reset some of those tallies so that hopefully the next penalty won't be as harsh? ? But he it's not been good, and obviously this is not going to help in that regard.
No. Looking back up, it looks like he served a penalty and ran Talladega caution free. And then he had a self-spin no contact at Kansas.
Right.
Which I think won't push you. With a 1-lap hold. He had driven out of it and then spun out right when we were talking about him. So this will, I think, restart the tally clock on the 32, but it still makes it makes it tough.
It does.
I'm sure Harrison Talon's not real pleased with the result there either. Nevertheless, it is Daniel Falkingham continuing to lead. I believe he's led every lap so far in this one. 154 circuits out in front for that 39 car. Ethan Stanley running second. The Channel 199 teammates third and fourth in Reynolds and Hogan. Another good start for Falkingham. Stanley with that outside line's been able to hold second just about all race long. And Reynolds is there to the inside of Stanley, but that outside's prevailed all race. Let's see if it does here. Still side by side into turn one. Reynolds really not able to throw it in super deep like he has been able to all season long, and he will have to fade into third. Back here battling into the top 10. Jesse Racimus, Ryan Gable side by side. Then you've got Josh Chin, Jaden Racimus, who's been sideways already. And going around Jaden Racimus right now, and I got to shout him out just in case something happens and he isn't in the top 10 anymore in a little bit. Michael Goodman in the top 10 right now, Zach. That's awful good to see.
That's incredible to see. Second on the all-time starts list here in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series. Still looking for that first career win in this series. Great run for Michael Goodman in the 44 car.
Oh, Jesse Racimus sideways right in front of him in that pink car. He's going to hold on to it. Goody's going to drive around him.
Move Goody up a spot.
Goody now under fire from Trey Holmes. Holmes, one of the cars that has gone down and put on 4 fresh tires. Oh, Dusty sideways. Oh, he's swatting flies. Gerald is now around and spun out in turn 1. I don't know if that was a direct result of the 32. Yeah, if it was, that's going to be another negative points day for Dusty.
Well, let's get another look here. So it starts with the contact there with Ethan Burrell, and then Gerald locks up the brakes to avoid hitting him. Dusty was in the process of bouncing off of Ray Bracey. I guess it's got to boil down to, does Sam Boutwell and race control believe the initial contact is a racing incident, or is that Dusty's fault, or is it maybe even Ethan Burrell's fault?
Worth noting, Dusty drove it straight down pit lane and parked it. So I think Dusty thinks it's his fault, but
Dusty thinks either there. Or Dusty thinks he's had enough. Call his racing incident, which is fine. But I think you're right. I think Dustin Dewar may have simply had enough fun for one night. Ethan Burrell has apologized to Dustin Dewar. I'm not sure.
We are going to get a racing incident on that one.
Yep.
And I'm sure Sam saw it, or at least was told about it, but there was a crash involving Seth Rawls, Chad Frankenfield, and Daniel Gore on the last restart before this one, resulting in heavy damage to both Rawls and Gore. This would have occurred on lap 155.
He just issued a severe damage tally. I did not catch.
I think it's going to be Seth Rawls.
I think he said it was his second of the night, so he's done. Which, yes, I believe that is. Because he would have received the tally for...
I think that's right.
Was that? Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It's been a long
night, but I definitely remember. Yes.
But anyway, there's going to be right about here. Yeah, it's one more lap up here on the back straightaway, but the pace car is off up front. We'll say Seth Rawls spun it out on the back straightaway, and that resulted in damage to the Daniel Gore machine. Daniel Falkingham to the race lead over Ethan Stanley. Stanley still working that outside line against Blake Reynolds, really needing Garrison Hogan to get up here and challenge Reynolds. But fortunately for Blake, that teammate in that fourth spot on these restarts is really helping him. He's able to fit into the third spot, not getting freight trained or held up on the bottom. We've seen that a couple of times tonight. Now the battle is for fifth. Ryan Gable loose and sideways in front of Michael Goodman. Everybody able to hang on to it as Gable backing up just a little bit. Oh, contact between Jaden Racimus and David Tooker. It doesn't result in anything. They continue to battle side by side in the back end of the top 10. Gable clears Jaden. Jaden working to the inside of Michael Goodman. Now Jaden is hung up on that outside lane. That lane of 3 white cars on the bottom of the racetrack, all of them have fresher tires than everybody they're racing around right now. That's Trey Holmes, Jonathan Cutlip, and Ethan Burrell, and those are 3 pretty fast cars with a tire advantage. I think they'll might be able to make something happen here, but they're going to need some green flag laps, I think, in order to get anything done. Oh my god, Corey Abbott in the outside wall. Trey Eidson is behind Ethan Burrell. Zach, he's on the lead lap.
Yeah,
he got a couple of lucky dogs, and he's fighting for a top 10 spot right now.
It's been an adventurous night for Trey Eidson, but he's making it working that bottom right now. Boy, I'd be really nervous seeing how close the 37 and the 1 are running to each other if I were in his shoes right now. Oh, behind them, there's an incident.
Oh, it's Gavin Higgins around with Josh Chin.
I see Gilberto Javier Gamera, Chad Frankenfield. I think I see both Ty McIntosh and Josh Chin. I don't know if they were slowing down to avoid or if they were involved. We'll get a look here.
Oh, Gavin gets a piece of Chad.
Yeah.
And then Chin was involved. I think Ty is going to have to slow up. And he might have gotten a piece of this wreck as well.
Just locked up the brakes, it looks like, for Gavin Higgins.
Mm-hmm. And he goes, oh yeah, Ty did get spun around in this wreck.
I don't think he has too much damage unless he caught the wall the wrong way.
No, knowing Ty, the damage is emotional at this point. The season he's had, being involved in yet another wreck, and he got turned into the wall by Gilly there.
That's gonna be frustrating for sure, because a lot of people managed to slow down for that incident just fine. Unfortunately, the one that didn't was right behind the 10 car.
Yeah. So Gavin Higgins is going to get the tally for this one. I do believe that's his first on the night. A lot of guys picking up tallies tonight. It's just been one of those nights. We've had some good racing. We really got off to such a good start there, and we've had a couple of rashes of just tons of caution flags, as we do have Daniel Gore in the infield care center. And I did tell the old South Shore drivers before the race to come talk to us. So let's talk to Daniel Gore and get his thoughts on what was a wild night for the 69 car tonight at North Wilkesboro. So Danny G, what happened out there, buddy?
It started off with lack of talent. I hit the bump and couldn't keep it, and that one was on me. I collected a few there, so I'm sorry for that. And then just as I was about to finish fixing my damage, my wheel stopped working for a second, and I went another lap down, so got trapped 2, and finally about to get back on the lead lap, and I get shot into pit lane out of a cannon and get a 45-second hold and 7 minutes of damage. So that's the night over, I think.
It's been kind of the story of your season, right? It's been very feast or famine with you, but obviously we've seen so many highs. What is it going to take to finish the season on a high note next week?
Where are we at is a good start.
It's a mile and a half. Vegas, maybe? I could be wrong. Zach probably knows better than I do.
Homestead.
There you go. You're good at Homestead.
Probably more famine than this car, but we'll see. Try and just get a good finish, and I'm looking forward to the start next season at this point.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see you next week, Danny G, and have a good one.
We've got trouble out of turn 2. It is this one. I'm gonna put this one on you, D West. Michael Goodman around.
Well, the car looks clean, so we can't be blamed if the car is clean. And
we can if it's your driver that turned it.
Oh, well, now it is on me. I'm gonna have to have a talk in the hauler.
If you had
after this one,
if you were forced to pick 2 guys least likely to bring out a caution,
yeah, it might be them 2.
It might be those 2.
Especially in the order of Ray Bracey ran over any driver here. I think the reason for it, Goody's taking it easy behind Rebel Us. Yes. Both he and Ray are on fresher tires. I think Ray was kind of unaware of the cautiousness that Goody was planning to display there into turn 1. And that's what you get, right? When it comes to bunching up the cars on these restarts, a little bit of miscommunication between 2 guys that we know are pretty easy to race around. And
on quick shifts, that's going to be like four dink sounds, right?
Right. Be sure to watch Quick Shifts right on Ray's YouTube channel. You'll get to see us talking about Ray wrecking somebody on his own YouTube channel. It'll be great.
The quad dinker.
You can't say that too fast. You'll get us demonetized. But
Tally 7 car.
Yeah.
To the surprise of Everyone and no one at the same time.
Yeah, that's wow. It's just been one of those nights. You got the wacky and crazy happening. Trey Eitz is in the top 10 after being 2 laps down. Daniel Falkingham's led every lap, but it hasn't ever felt like he's just going guaranteed to win the race, because we've already seen him miss shift last week, and not to mention Ethan Stanley's been right on his bumper the entire event. So anything is still possible with regards to the race win.
What?
What happened?
I was trying to figure out why Daniel Falkingham was playing bumper tag with the pace car. That's all.
He was getting bumped by Blake Reynolds. Green flag is back out. And this is the best restart for Ethan Stanley all race long. He's got to capitalize here. He's still side by side with Falkingham with the good run, but a great run out of turn 2 by Falkingham. Stanley's still there, side by side for the race lead. This could be the restart that decides the race. Falkingham not clear Stanley yet. To the front straightaway they go, still side by side for the race lead.
And at a given moment, this caution could come out again. Ethan Stanley may not even need to complete the pass. He just needs to get that nose out in front.
Stanley working that outside lane. It's working well for now. It's keeping him side by side with Falkingham at the line. Lead change first time all race. It's Ethan Stanley with a bonus point. He'll grab that lap lead. He'll take over control of this race. Stanley working towards his first Belly Up Sports Cup Series championship. He's got to have these points. He needs to go out and win this race. Falkingham needs to win this race to stay involved in this championship hunt. Blake Reynolds is right there trying to go for 3 in a row. 3 drivers deep, and it is Ethan Stanley who has taken the lead and control of the race over Falkingham. Has got to fall into second. And a moment of brevity.
Yeah.
As Ethan Stanley works to the outside lane now, Blake Reynolds charges to the inside of Daniel Falkingham with the dirty air on his nose. Ryan Gable way up out of the zone. Mark Reblos is up on top of Jaden Racimus. Caution is out.
What on earth? How did that happen?
Y'all look at this replay. This is quite the replay. This is why we need the caution replay to be sponsored. So please, if you're watching, you're like, that caution replay needs to be sponsored. This is an all-timer right here. Daniel Falkingham down pit road. Falkingham coming to get tires.
I do want to see, right? Something happened before this. And
yes.
Around Ryan Gable. I think that may have been kind of a factor in this, getting everybody stacked up. Oh, okay, actually, that was completely unrelated. It looks like
I think that was a little father-son action there that got this started off. Jesse Racimus up into the sun.
To see that. Yeah, but so that was separate from ahead of them. Somebody gets into, I think it's Trey Holmes gets into Ryan Gable.
Yep. Knocks him sideways.
Yeah.
Wow. And then Jesse gets Jaden, and Mark Reblas goes for a wild ride.
I joke about with friends like these who needs enemies, but when it's your own flesh and blood, man, that's tough.
We've got several families in the Elite Racing League. We've got the Fodies, we've got dad, father, and son. We've got the Racimuses. The Adamses have a couple of brothers in there. I definitely recall the Adamses making contact. Do you ever remember the Fodies, Frank running over Tyler? I don't know that I have. Maybe wrecking together in a big one or something, but I genuinely don't know.
Also the Javiers. We have the Javiers.
The Javiers.
Not the Cup Series,
I think Dylan and Mitch are cousins.
Okay.
So, but still a family group.
Oh God, what a view.
It's not the one you want. Jesse Racimus is going to get dinged for the tally here. Wrecking your own son, as it were. Oh my. I did mention it. Daniel Falkingham down pit lane to get tires. That's going to put him 23rd on this restart. Ethan Stanley took the lead on the restart. Zach, I probably would have wanted to fight back on the restart. I don't know that going to get tires, burying yourself in the field is the way to go here.
Yeah.
Ethan Stanley gets into the restart zone, gets a great jump on Blake Reynolds, and he will maintain control of the race. Stanley, Reynolds, Hogan, David Tooker, Trey Eidson into the top 5 as Rebelas goes a lap down on the inside lane here. That might prove to be a little bit tight on the bottom of the racetrack. I think they all made it.
YouTube chat wants you to know Mitch is Dylan's uncle.
Yes, that's what I thought. I think that's nephew then, right? And he's his nephew.
Or nephew, yes.
Yeah. So Stanley and Reynolds, the championship contenders, out to the race lead. Side by side for third, David Tooker has it. Garrison Hogan hunting for it on the bottom of the racetrack. Trey Holmes working the outside lane. He's going to not be able to get up alongside Hogan. Hogan's going to clear to the outside lane. They'll single file out now with Trey Holmes and Trey Eidson side by side. Oh, Eidson sideways, spins the 27. The recovery drive is over. Eidson spins it out. The yellow flag is displayed. He will not lose all of the spots. But, into the top 5 and I might have hit the bump.
Yep.
There's Daniel Falkingham driving by. He made up 4 positions on that restart. The dirty air, the lack of track position, the tires are not overcoming that. Daniel Falkingham is going to need a miracle to get back into this championship hunt. We're starting Freebird here, Dave. Garrison Hogan down pit road.
That is my alarm that I need to go outside and pick up my bird feeders because the raccoons are taking my bird feed. So Freebird is what plays.
That's clever. It might get us demonetized, but it is clever.
It doesn't. There's only a couple of notes. Eidson does get the tally. Oh, man. Garrison Hogan pits out of the top 5. Again, Zach, I think I would want the track position right now. I want to be as close to the front of the field as I could be.
Yeah, for sure. I think I share that sentiment with you, but we'll see how it all works out. Go ahead.
No, you got it.
Okay, I was going to change subjects entirely. I was going to mention, we talked about Mark Revelis and his stunt driving there previously. He was also at the same racetrack we were on Sunday, but he was working a lot harder than we were.
Right, he was taking photos, has some real good ones up for the Indy 500 of the guy I was rooting for, Ed Carpenter, getting crashed into the outside wall. That was rather depressing. I can even announcers jinx the real life drivers. Fun fact.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yes, as long as I'm present at the racetrack, I am immediately jinxing said drivers. But that was a fabulous race. You and I were there. Chad Frankenfield, Johnny Thomas was there as well.
Oh, I didn't know Johnny was there. Neat.
Yeah, Johnny was again. The racetrack's so large. There were so many people there. It was real difficult.
Hard to meet up in a crowd of 300,000 people.
It is. Ethan Stanley, control of this race. He's going to go real early in the restart zone, try to continue to get that advantage over Blake Reynolds. He's got to clear him going into turn 1, though. He's not going to clear Blake Reynolds. Reynolds to the outside. Stanley drives down the hill. Off turn 2, he will maintain the lead for now. Stanley's driving as well as he can right now. He's got to take it to Blake Reynolds. He's got to make up the gap. 3 wide in the middle of the field. Johnny Thomas and Jared Rexing bouncing off each other. Trey Holmes to the outside of Jonathan Cutlip for 4th. Holmes working his way back towards the podium. That's your 2nd place finisher at Talladega. Chin's car sideways. Gavin Higgins with a big moment. The short track racer, I believe, hangs on to it. Yep.
Is it gonna save it? He's clipped.
Garrison Hogan. Trey Eidson involved in that one, and that to me is the exact story of why you don't pit for tires. Garrison Hogan was in the top 5. He tries the pit the tire strategy, and he gets taken out in this wreck. And I mean, Daniel Falkingham was inches from having the same fate here. There goes Hogan, Trey Eidson, it's Ty McIntosh again.
Yeah.
It all started with Gavin Higgins on the front stretch, having a big moment, getting out of shape. And then gets up into Matthew Weeks, 4 wide. Weeks spins down, and then, I mean, nowhere for Ty McIntosh and Trey Eidson to go. Completely innocent bystanders in this one. Hogan's car is destroyed. He's done for the day. Championship hopes are dashed for the winner at the race. So I'm going to have to hit the back button on this and go to schedule. Garrison Hogan won the race at New Hampshire this season. He was lightly alive in the championship hunt, but it was going to need to be a miracle. And unfortunately for Garrison Hogan, it will not come today at North Wilkesboro. Oh, boy. Well, Zach, 15 cautions.
Yep.
It's been a long race. Our championship contenders run 1-2. So we go back to take a look at what happened to Gavin Higgins at the exit of turn 4.
A tally on the 11.
I would tell Sam to probably rewind just a touch. The only reason the 11 was in a spot to move down across the nose of the 20 was because the 20 was 30 mile an hour slower than everybody else because he got loose off turn 4.
I mean, yes, but he is still there. He didn't wreck through the pit wall and disappear off the racetrack. You can't.
Yeah.
We'll agree to disagree on that one.
We don't even have time to discuss it. Ethan Stanley into the restart zone. We're going racing once again. 22 laps of racing to go. Stanley with a much better jump this time on Blake Reynolds. He'll be able to clear in front of that 66 car. And it seems like if you clear into the clean air on these restarts, you are pretty well clean and green as long as you don't lose one of those quarter panels. But Ethan Stanley, one of the best at being able to hold the lead in that clean air. I hear tires squealing in the background. Jared Rexing is around on the back straightaway. He is off the racing surface. We are still racing.
Going to bring out a caution.
Jonathan Cutlip working to the inside of Blake Reynolds. He will not find it. Rexing's going to back up the racetrack. I don't think that'll cause a yellow. These guys aren't close to him yet. Reynolds looking and trying to get to the inside of Ethan Stanley. He cannot do it. Cutlip now working the outside lane, trying to get after those two leaders, but that's going to open the door for Ethan Burrell on the bottom of the racetrack. Burrell with a moment sideways, and he has to back out of it. And these guys are all single file now. Cutlip trying to have that big run up on the outside lane. He might be alongside Blake Reynolds. He is. Jonathan Cutlip, who has fresher tires than Blake Reynolds, working to the outside to try and grab that second position away. He will do it. Jonathan Cutlip trying to go back to back here after he won at Kansas a couple of weeks ago. 3 wide between Ryan Gable, Ray Bracey, and Gavin Higgins. That could result in a crash. It does not so far. They are still 3 wide. Reynolds sideways on corner exit in turn 4. Cutlip has cleared for second. They're still 3 wide back there, fighting it out. I'm convinced the caution's going to come from there. They are side by side for third. Ethan Burrell going after Blake Reynolds. The tire advantage is with the 5 and the 37. But they have to go out and get the race lead as soon as possible from Ethan Stanley if they want to have a chance at winning this race, because if the caution comes out and Stanley gets to re-rack and get that restart advantage, it'll be very difficult for these guys to pass him back with just 15 laps to go. Mark Rebelos is damaged and he's trying to stay out of the way, but it's causing havoc right now.
Absolutely.
Oh, Trey Holmes and Borges.
Save it! Save it! Oh.
No, Borges is around. Big Wreck. No, not Big Wreck. Just Borges around. Corey Abbott down pit road to avoid it. That will keep Ethan Stanley in the race lead. He was being hounded by Jonathan Cutlip. This all started with them trying to get around Mark Rebelas. Whew. Borges and Holmes, the two cars involved in this one.
McIntosh just said with the damage he is, quote, driving the Mayflower. I don't know if that's in reference to the ship or one of the 8 moving trucks, but it doesn't sound good either way.
If I had to guess, I think he means because the front nose of the car is so flattened up and the rear of the car is sticking up in the air.
It literally has a sail on the
yeah, I think the rear of the car sticking up is making it turn like a rudder. So when he cranks the wheel left, the car drives straight. And he's cranking it left and cranking it left, and it takes forever to turn like a boat. Like if you turn the boat wheel, the boat doesn't immediately turn. The rudder has to dig into the water and cut the wheel. And so that would be my assumption. This poor 10 car has been involved in so many incidents, none of his own making. At this point, I mean, you're on the lead lap, right? It's just see if you can't pick up a few spots on the last lap, maybe a couple of wrecks here down the stretch, take some more competitors out, and you're able to make some ground up.
Don't look now, but Daniel Falkingham's in 5th.
Yeah, I don't even know when that happened. There was so much going on there. There's some guys wrecked out in front of him. Ryan Borges is going to get the caution contact. He is certainly back in striking distance to take this race over, but if the caution comes out very quickly, it will be very much an advantage for this 91 of Ethan Stanley. Into the restart zone they go. Stanley fires off well. And we are racing once again in the quick shifts 225 with just 9 laps to go. Stanley tries to pin Cutlip up to the outside lane. He will do it. Here comes Daniel Falkingham to the inside of Blake Reynolds. They're 3 wide for 3rd. Falkingham with the fresh tires underneath Blake Reynolds. 3 wide with Burrell. Crashing behind, I hear it spinning. Frankenfield's all the way around. Caution is out. Cutlip was just to the outside, and oh man, where are they going to rank Falkingham? And I mean, we had the camera pointed right at him. I don't know who was in front. That 3 wide battle. They were 3 wide for a couple of laps. There's Chad Frankenfield into Jared Rexing sideways, and the 15 is going to go around.
It's got to be a tough one, too.
Oh, man, Ray Bracey's real lucky he didn't get hooked head on in the fence by Chad Frankenfield right there.
I really thought either that or Ty McIntosh was going to get collected there. I think that was Ty. It could have been.
He went to the apron to avoid it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to quick shifts when Chad's car will bounce off a raise and we'll hear the donk. It'll be donk right there. Ty made a good job avoiding it. You know, for a boat, that car turned pretty swiftly.
Well, if you look on the outside of the car when it hits the apron, at least if it looks the same as it did on my screen, it looked like a dirt car for a little bit. Making that left-hand turn. Yeah. That's not healthy. That's not healthy.
He pointed it at the apron, and then when it bounced on the apron, it actually cut and stayed down there. I don't know if it would have done it otherwise.
Oh. He looked like he was back at Bristol earlier this season.
This will now be a very difficult position for Ethan Stanley.
Yes.
And if I'm Ethan Stanley, I think you have to think about taking the outside lane here.
I think you got to think about it. But of course, here's the danger, especially coming from, thinking short track. If you take the outside, the guy on the inside is then invited to decide how many tires he would like to use going into turn 1. Does he want to just use his 4? Or would he like to use some of your 4 as well? Ethan Stanley has decided he wants to make that decision. He is on the inside.
Yep. Yeah, that's the tough part, right? You can't give up that inside lane, but you also you can't give up that outside lane. You can't get put in the wall for the win, but you also don't want to pull Daniel Falkingham through.
Yep.
Stanley chooses the bottom, rockets out to the race lead. It's not a great start. Cutlip is up to the outside lane to fight with Stanley. Stanley's going to slide. He's in the wall. Shot of the Cutlip to the race lead. Ethan Stanley might have thrown away the championship there. Back into the field goes Stanley. They're side by side for the lead up front between Cutlip and Falkingham. 3 laps to go. Come into 2 to go. Cutlip with the lead. Josh Chin wrecks into the inside wall. Caution is out. Falkingham has the lead.
Absolutely what Ethan Stanley didn't need for this championship hunt.
Oh my goodness. And he's going to be right around the start of this rack too.
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, I don't know that that's necessarily a tally on him, but obviously it was contact between him and Josh Chin as they all funneled there out of turn 4.
And I called incorrectly. There at the caution flag, Jonathan Cutlip is being ruled the race leader. That is massive. Last race's winner, Jonathan Cutlip, first time all day he leads after swiping the lead from Ethan Stanley on the restart. And he will have a chance to go back to back here as we approach the final stretch for this championship hunt. Blake Reynolds makes it through. He is 3rd. Stanley falls to 7th. Wow. Did such a good job controlling the race, especially once he pulled the lead from Daniel Falkingham. And all of a sudden, it's out the window. Things get tense and chaotic here late in the going at North Wilkesboro. And in a points-based championship, right? I mean, you think back to last season where it was kind of a final race takes all shootout. Stanley would have been well and good. Right, I believe, to get in. He won. Well, he's had 2 really good races, right? In the last couple of races, he probably would have been good to get into that Final 4. Now, as we get to the green-white checkered, he's 7th. He's losing a lot of points. It's not the same. He's going to be losing points to Blake Reynolds for the championship fight, and he'll lose a lot of points to Daniel Falkingham as well. So, Zach, why don't you explain the green-white checkered?
As always in the Belly Up Sports Cup Series, 3 attempts at a green-white checkered. The first one upcoming here, probably about to get the 1 to green. If the field receives the caution during the first lap, we will re-rack, try again at attempt number 2, and possibly attempt number 3. Once the white flag is displayed, however, iRacing is no longer capable of throwing a yellow flag, recognizing yellow flag, acknowledging an incident on track. It is once the white flag is displayed, it is a race 2D checkered. Whoever gets there first wins. It doesn't matter how many cars are upside down or on fire or anything else.
There you go. Let's see what happens. First attempt of 3. Jonathan Cutlip, Daniel Falkingham heading towards that restart zone, and we'll see how Jonathan Cutlip decides to play this. Falkingham pinching him down. Green flag back out. Great jump for Jonathan Cutlip. Clear of Falkingham. He moves up the racetrack in front of the 39. Dumps the air on the nose. Blake Reynolds gets in almost at contact with the 39 car. They hold firm. Everybody's sorted. We're getting around close to the white flag. Do we get it? Cutlip to the outside to block Falkingham. White flag.
Here comes Falkingham.
Daniel Falkingham inside of Jonathan Cutlip. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Falkingham with a little loose out of turn 2. Cutlip down to the inside. It's going to be all Jonathan Cutlip. He takes the bump from Daniel Falkingham, and Jonathan Cutlip is going to win the Quick Shifts 225. They crash to the start-finish line behind, but it'll be Cutlip, Falkingham, Burrell, then Reynolds. Ethan Stanley drops to 9th on the final tally of the race. And he is, I'm certain, very frustrated with the potential outcome there. That 91 car was really fast all night long, but ultimately neither of the two dominant cars win this race. It goes to Jonathan Cutlip, who makes a great strategy call in the mid-race and drives through the field to collect the trophy. Reynolds with a 4th and really sets himself up nicely to go out and become a 3-time Belly Up Sports Cup Series champion, all back-to-back-to-back. What a night.
What a night. The celebration beginning for Jonathan Cutlip here on the front stretch at North Wilkesboro Speedway.
A couple of finishing note cleanup before we head towards interviews. David Tooker 5th behind Blake Reynolds in 4th. Gavin Higgins comes home 6th after having a very eventful night. Johnny Thomas picks up a P7. Great night for Johnny. Josh Adams was one of the first cars around in this race. He finishes 8th. Ethan Stanley, obviously 9th. Jesse Racimus comes home with a much-needed top 10 finish in this one. Trey Eidson did recover for 13th after being a couple of laps down early in the event. Matthew Weeks will likely see his championship hopes up in smoke with a 17th place result.
6th career Belly Up Sports Cup Series win for Jonathan Cutlip. Of course, you touched on the back-to-back wins.
Yep. Coming alive at the right time is the driver of the 5 here. Let's talk to Ethan Burrell, first of the drivers into the waiting room, and we'll grab Ethan Burrell and talk to him. Ethan, we talked to you a couple times this season. For a guy who likes to claim that he don't got it no more, you seem to find your way onto the podium quite a bit these days.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm definitely consistent, especially this season, man. It's been a very consistent season. I can't be upset about that. It's just I feel like the very top of the peak just keeps growing. I'm kind of at the same spot, but it just gets harder and harder to win. And I thought I was going to be looking good with the tire advantage over the front handful of guys, but then Falkingham pitted later, and then he flew up there pretty quick. So, yeah, it was fun battling with those guys. It was a bummer it got so messy towards the end, but that's, we were prepared for that. And yeah, man, it feels good to get a P3.
It definitely, I guess you've come to expect it over the years, Ethan. You know what these short track races tend to play out like here in Elite, but, how challenging was it times with all the different strategies? How much the tire wear seemed to matter to kind of keep your head in the game and come out of this with a podium finish?
Yeah, it actually ended up being a big factor. The tire wear they were wearing away pretty quick, and at the start of the race, the car was pretty tight. Didn't want to get through the corners well, and tires were wearing a bunch. And then later on, it started to handle better. And I think everyone, at that point in the race, everyone starts to get more confident, and everybody starts deciding that they want to move forward. And that's kind of where it gets a little messy. But I mean, yeah, you saw that, the first quarter or half of the race. I mean, we can do that, and then we could also have the second half of the race happen. But yeah, it was good. The tires definitely did make a big difference, which was nice, because I know a lot of the time these short track races in this next gen, it's more about track position than anything. But the car was really, really tough to drive, especially at the end. It was starting to get kind of loose under braking, and the corners are wide here, so it's easy to end up 3 wide and just chasing the back end of the car. But it's good old short track racing for sure.
And Ethan, this third question, we usually talk about the chase, the playoffs, the championship hunt. Obviously, you are probably on the on the outside cusp, you'll be, Mark Martin in the 1992 last race, right? You'll have a chance, but you'll need those guys to forget how to drive or something. So, what's it look like with a successful season as you kind of approach maybe, as a, take a podium here and you're looking at maybe a third or a fourth in the total standings in terms of what could happen next week at Homestead?
Yeah, I mean, with how the season's been, I mean, I feel like I'm closing it out kind of on the upper edge of kind of where I've been most all the season, really. I mean, I feel like I've probably been one of the more consistent people and right around, mid to low top 10 week in and week out. And I mean, if I could sneak up to like fourth, maybe even close to third in the standings, I mean, that would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, I knew coming into this race, like I would have had to win the stage and win the race and then probably rinse and repeat next week to even have a chance at the title. But yeah, no, hey, we are within one whole race of the championship. So I mean, that's I'll at least have a chance. That would be pretty cool.
Before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this podium finish tonight?
Yeah, thanks to you guys, Dave, Zach, and David. You guys do an awesome job these long nights, especially. You get lots of ups and downs. You guys do a great job keeping it entertaining. So big shout out to you guys, and Sam as well, for having to deal with all of us, telling us when we messed up. But shout out all the guys at Pro Edge Racing. It was nice having David Tooker back out there. Got to battle with him quite a bit. That was awesome. I know Matthew Weeks had a rough night. Trey Holmes was having a good night. Unfortunately, didn't last at the end there. But yeah, shout out all of them. Shout out Jonathan Cutlip on the win, and also for the nice Domino's paint scheme he's painted up for me. And yeah, shout out to my wife Rachel as well. She got home from work and turned the fan on in here for me. Thank goodness, because this race was a handful.
That's Ethan. Well, thank you. Congrats on P3, and we'll see you next week at Homestead.
All right, thanks, guys.
Let's grab runner-up finisher Daniel Falkingham and talk to him. And Daniel, I criticized the call to come down pit road there. I felt like you had a better chance of fighting back against Stanley with the track position, but you proved me wrong. Drove right up through the field. Just came up one spot too short there. Take me through kind of the night where you dominated at the start and then had to fight back at the end to get to P2.
Yeah, definitely an up and down race. Took control of that entire first half, getting the stage points we needed, and just getting the bonus points we needed to try to close in on the points. But yeah, kind of sums up our season. How many races that we should have won this season we've lost. Like, definitely we've lost at least 3 or 4 of these that we should have won. But I've only got myself to blame for somehow losing it on the restart when I was the leader and not getting good enough restart on the bottom, letting Stanley go around me on the top. But I feel like my only play after that was I had to pit and just get tires because I knew we had fresher tires coming behind us. But having that clean air is such a difference. Like, I knew I wasn't going to get back past Stanley because we were so even during that race. So I figured that was my only way, and I knew it was going to be a risky move doing it. But coming in, I pretty much had to win this race if we were going to be back in title contention. So we did it, and we did everything right. We got the restarts we needed, made the moves we needed to. I will say I was ahead of Cutlip on that last yellow, but friggin' Irising's stupid timing loops are really dumb because when I was ahead of him for like 2 seconds. But it is what it is. Like I said, sucks didn't get it, but I mean we still beat Blake and we got a lot of bonus points tonight. So we'll see what the points look like after tonight. But we still got an uphill battle for the final race. But yeah, like I said, felt like we should have won this one, but pretty much just sums up our season with how many races we've lost.
I'm going to ask a really unimportant question here, Daniel. What are you rocking out to there in the background?
I got AEW on my TV right here beside me. So, sorry if I didn't mean that was picking up through the microphone. my fault right there. I didn't know that was picking up. So my apologies. But yeah,
good. I
got that playing while I was racing. So because there was nothing else on, so I put it on and. I was just enjoying that while we were under caution. So
there was plenty of time for that.
Heck yeah, but yeah, just kind of like had someone on the TV because there was like nothing else. There was like no basketball on tonight, no playoff action going on tonight. So figured I'd put that on because I was on. So yeah, got some good stuff going on over there.
Daniel, you mentioned the championship hunt. Obviously, it's going to be a long shot for you to get after Blake Reynolds and probably Stanley as well here. After tonight, what can you do next week at Homestead to kind of finish the season out on a positive note, even if those guys are able to run right with you and prevent you from closing the gap all the way?
Yeah, we'll just go out and run the best race possible. There's 2 stages next week, so there's 2 shots at getting points during the race. And, I mean, you never know. You never know what could happen. Like, something could happen to those guys, like what happened to Stanley there at the end. He had a bad restart and kind of shuffled there at the end. So, I mean, I know, like, all 3 of us were going to be up there because Homestead, it's a very good track for all of us, I think. So, but, yeah, really would have loved to have won that race because that would have given me an extra 20 points compared to what I would have gotten. So, or what I did get, I should say. But, I mean, like I said, it's a full-length race next week. Anything can happen. You never know. But, I mean, we're going to try our best because I feel like I've been having to fight and claw this entire chase with having the 2, 30th place finishes that was outside of my control. So, yeah, like I said, we've been fighting and clawing the whole chase. Kind of been the story of it. But we're going to keep doing it next week. We're going to fight, see what we can do. And maybe we come out on top. Maybe we don't. We'll see what happens. We're just going to race, and we'll let it all play out.
Hey, before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this run tonight?
Yeah, shout out to you boys broadcasting. Shout out to Chad for putting the league on. Shout out to everyone who came out and raced tonight, make these races possible. Shout out to Belly Up Sports for sponsoring the series. Shout out to Cutlip on the win. And yeah, thank you guys again for broadcasting. Shout out to everyone watching, and also still send our condolences to everyone with the Bush family. I know it's been a rough last week in the racing community, especially. I know he came over and ran some elite stuff before I was around. So, but it was cool to see all the KB paint schemes out here tonight and doing that missing man formation on the first pace lap. So we're all of us still sending our thoughts out to the Bush family and everyone involved, and know it's been a rough week.
Thank you, Daniel. We echo those condolences, and hope you have a good week, and we'll see you next week for the championship finish.
All right, thanks, David. Y'all have a good one.
That was runner-up finisher Daniel Falkingham. Let's grab race winner Jonathan Cutlip and bring him to the booth. And John, we talked to you 2 weeks ago, back again in victory lane. Did you think it was possible there after kind of going down and taking tires and getting stuck in the traffic trying to drive your way through the field?
Yeah, I definitely knew it was possible. It's just I was kind of getting nervous with the cautions. I wasn't sure if we were going to get a green flag run in because that's where it was really going to show. And luckily, we were just able to get enough restarts to, restart up top, and a few green flag runs mixed in there, a few laps, and we were able to pick off some positions. And yeah, we got up to 6th, I think, and we were just able to somehow climb up through the top 5 and ended up in the right side of it.
Obviously, you touch on, that the strategy working out for you there. Obviously, the tires were such a huge factor tonight, even earlier in the race, because track position was huge, but at the same time, there was definitely a certain point where the car almost became undrivable if you weren't taking care of those tires. How much of a challenge was that to kind of weigh the pros and cons on night where hypothetically we could have had another green flag run like we did at the start of the race, but it became clear at a certain point that wasn't going to happen again?
Yeah, it was a huge factor. Tire wear was huge tonight, as you saw early in the race. We had some people that were involved in an early crash take tires, and they immediately seemed like they moved their way up through the field. But I was thinking with 60 to go or so that I wanted to take tires because I felt like if you pitted any later, you're just going to get mired in traffic, especially if we had a caution fest start to develop. And I thought we were in a winning strategy as the leaders stayed out. They last pitted lap 95, I think. And we came in 145, and I thought we were in the best position possible. And then Dan lost the lead and pitted with 40 to go, I think, and he was insanely quick. He he probably would have won the race had the one caution not come out with, I think it was coming to 10 to go or so. He was ahead of us, and the scoring loops did us a favor and gave us control in the next restart. And luckily, our tires had just enough life to hold on for 2 laps. That's all it took. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was like a great race. I wish we could have ran green there, but as far as the strategy side of things, that was super fun.
Yeah, John, and you're in the same spot. I talked to Ethan Burrell about this as well, right? When it comes to the championship, you're pretty much hoping those guys forget how to drive up in front of you, get caught up in a lap 1 wreck or something. But when it comes to this entire season, it seems like it's been a pretty solid success for you, especially because the middle of the year really wound up being kind of a dud. But you're finishing so strong. Does this really play into what you can get next week at Homestead and how that can lead into 26B?
Yeah, it's pretty much just the schedule thing. Like I was kind of just like, I wouldn't say taking it like serious. Like I still wanted to put good runs in. It's just that I just kind of wanted to relax early on. I don't know how Dan does it. He is 100% all the time. Like his mental is crazy, but yeah, we're finishing it off strong here. Hopefully next season, I'm looking forward to that. That should be a fun season. Homestead's pretty much just business as usual. It's pretty much always business as usual. It's just we'll take what we can get. We're good at not taking ourselves out of it. Just Homestead's one of my favorite tracks. We won there last year, I think. Me and Garrison had a super fun battle for the lead. Hopefully we can recreate that one more time next week. Hopefully we come out on the right side of it as well. But yeah, like I'm looking forward to Homestead. Looking forward to the off season for a little bit and just see what 26B has in store for us.
And before we let you go, who do you have to thank on this win tonight?
Shout out to you guys over here in Elite, Dave Huck, D West, Sam Boutwell, Zach Evans. You guys do a great job week in and week out. I enjoy watching through some of the broadcasts. Hopefully you guys had some fun things to talk about. I wish the racing was a little bit better. That was frustrating in the car. Hopefully you guys were, entertained at some point. But yeah, shout out to you guys. Shout out to Field Up Racing, Justin, Jesse, Gavin, and Kurt. Unfortunately, Kurt ended up leaving early, and Gavin couldn't make the race. And I'm not sure what happened to Justin and Jesse, but shout out to Race CPI. It was super fun racing with Dana there at the end. I think that's the first time we ever battled for the lead there, and he gave us everything. That was definitely a super fun battle with him at the end. I'm so gutted for Ethan Stanley though. He was doing so well for the entire night, and unfortunately the one restart he just slipped going into one, and I never caught back up with him, and he just ended up catching the fence. But I'm gutted for him. Yeah, that's the channel 199 guys. We race week in and week out. They're always fun to hang around. Blake, Garrison, Stanley, Paul, and Josh. I forgot to shout him out last week. I'm so sorry for that. But if he watches, Eddie, thank you for your tips at Texas. That translated to Kansas. But shout out to him. Shout out to my mom. She watches every race. She was super happy. As soon as I crossed the line, I could hear her cheering. And yeah, it's been a pretty somber week as far as the racing world's concerned with losing Kyle. So this one's dedicated to him and his family. It's a tragedy to say the least. But yeah, I'm pretty much at a loss for words as far as that goes. I still can't believe the news of that, and the entire week it's surreal. But yeah, I think I touched on everything there.
Gotcha. Well, we appreciate it, John. Congrats on the win. And yeah, we echo your sentiment again. This is a good one for Kyle. And it was a good race. Don't worry. We had a good time tonight, I think. So congrats.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you for a three-peat next week at Homestead.
Hopefully we did him proud with the 5 on the door.
Yeah. There we go. That's race winner Jonathan Cutlip. We'll see you next week, John.
See you next week.
And we've been able to hold up the points totals for you guys there. Looks like Ethan Stanley is going to be about 10 points behind Blake Reynolds and Zach. That late race drop from first to ninth, I mean, that's 9 points right there. I mean, Ethan Stanley was probably going to be the championship leader had he been able to hang on to the lead and win the race. As it stands, from my math, there will be 5 drivers eligible for the championship, 3 with a realistic shot. And I mean, you look at those win totals this season. I mean, there's been no clear dominant driver. Daniel Falkingham's been fast, but as he mentioned, he's thrown a lot of races away. It's going to come down to next week. The same 3 that were kind of there this week. It's a shame that Gavin Hibbs missed the race. I think he would have really had a shot. But it's been a great season, and it's a shame it's going to end. And but I think these guys are going to be able to put out a good one.
David. It feels like
I
it
know.
just started. I can't believe we're already talking about going to the finale. And of course, it's. I think even with even if you say only 3 guys have a realistic shot, I think that's probably fair to say. It is a full distance, 400 mile or 267 laps at Homestead. So there's got to be more stage points up for grabs. That's going to definitely, I think, play a factor. Really excited to see how this championship format plays out when we go to Homestead in 1 week's time.
Yeah, there'll be stage points on the line, as Daniel mentioned as well. There'll be a lot to keep track of. We'll do our best here on the Elite Racing Network, but from all of us with Elite Racing League and Belly Up Sports, this was the Quick Shifts 225, and we'll see you next week to crown a champion at Homestead.